apparently Trump's own lawyers, his legal counsel, had been mocking him behind the scenes for how broke he is. And we know about this thanks to newly released emails by the January 6th committee. Listen, if that's all the January 6th committee did, then that would be enough for me to say, I believe in their right to exist, okay? As a committee investigating Trump. But they've done far more than that. I think that the way they've handled the hearings has been excellent. We've covered them, we've talked about them. But this is just pure entertainment. And I am curious if these lawyers were laughing and mocking him as much when they realized that Trump doesn't end up paying his lawyers or pretty much anyone. But nonetheless, the latest emails were part of an exchange between Trump's attorneys John Eastman, Kenneth Chesebro, and Bruce Marks. And it was acquired by the committee after knocking down Eastman's dubious claims of attorney-client privilege. And so what did the email say? Let's get right to it. In one email, Chesebro wrote, "Am at Trump International NYC, so I'm feeling extra inspired to work on the president's cases." Marks replied that it was a shame Chesebro was not in Washington at Trump's hotel so he could, this is important, contribute to violation of the emoluments clause of the United States Constitution. So just a quick refresher on that. The sitting president, based on what the Constitution says, is not supposed to personally profit. His businesses are not supposed to profit from taxpayer money as a result of the president funneling that money, to his private businesses. And that's what Trump had been doing. And based on this exchange, his lawyers were not only aware of it, they were joking around about it. It's amazing. One more part of the interaction. In response, Chesebro wrote that he was staying at Trump's Washington, D.C. hotel from January 3rd to January 8th and said he was doing his part to curry favor with Trump by lining his empty pockets. Ben.
The best.
So good.
And I'm sure Chesebro is the way to pronounce it, but anybody who decides to represent Trump, I'd like to pronounce his name Cheesy Bro going forward. That is definitely a cheesy bro, and that's being kind to this guy. It's not only entertaining to see how even his own lawyers, who are as inside as you can get with somebody, that's the person you can confide all of your truths to, acknowledge how the man truly is broke in reality. But even sadder and more frightening about it is the emoluments clause part in the middle of that exchange, is that they are joking around about the fact that the president is committing a violation against the US Constitution. And it proves yet again how the one very sad but efficient and effective thing Trump did in his presidency is prove that you can sadly call BS on the Constitution and not pay consequences for it. And that's why the January 6th committee is so crucial. And that's why the investigation about the stolen documents is so crucial, is because we need to finally hold him to account, not just because he's out of office and it's vindictive, even though it would be really great to show this person that you cannot run amok of the law, but for us to have a country going forward that actually has a constitution. If you don't enforce the founding document of a country, then you don't have that document anymore. It's a worthless piece of paper. And so you have to enforce consequences. That's why it is so crucial. It's not vindictive, it is essential, and it is very necessary to have a country that can prosper going forward. It has to happen. We can't allow a guy's lawyers to be joking around about how we're all violating the Constitution. Isn't that great? It's not.
Isn't it so funny? Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously agree with you. Those are indisputable facts. But at the same time, I think the reason why we don't see a true enforcement of what the Constitution entails is because how many of these politicians are crooks themselves? And I think power protects power because everyone's in on some scheme, some insider trading game. It's pretty gross. You look at the personal financial dealings of members of Congress. It doesn't even matter what party we're talking about here. Yep. And it's just endless bad behavior, potentially illegal behavior, certainly illegal behavior if we as ordinary people were engaging in it. Like imagine if, Martha Stewart couldn't even engage in insider trading without consequences, okay? Imagine if like we did it. If we did what Martha Stewart did at the time she did it, we'd still be in prison, 100%. But like for the powerful, for politicians, for the lawmakers, turn the other way, maybe do an investigation for the political theater of it. But there's never any like prison time or any real consequences for the bad actors they're investigating. And I think that's telling.
That is so true. That is so true. And it is so unfortunate. You still hope maybe that even though most of them definitely have incredibly shady dealings and things that they're probably trying to hide, maybe they could still make an exception for prosecuting Trump on account of the sheer volume. The fact that maybe they're like, look, we all have some stuff, but once you get over 9 major violations against the Constitution, we can push that and we'll still be safe. Like maybe that's the line that they could find. But at the same time, it's exactly true that the larger systemic issue that we still have to address in this country is getting these crook bums out of power. I always tell people, go check out represent.us. It's a great organization that's nonpartisan. That is, their whole mission is to get the corruption out, get the money out of politics, stop voter suppression. Just the obvious things that at least give us a chance to, as we wash out these corrupt idiots from power, maybe we can get better and better people in there and have a future possibly that isn't doomed to this same fate of people that are just there to, on the surface, help people, but really be lining their own pockets, even if they're on the better side of things.